Salute BookTube, welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I'm happy to be here. Well, it's the last day of June, I believe, or tomorrow is, but it will not be June 2025 ever again. But that means July is coming, and if you can believe it, we're already halfway through 2025. But July is coming, hard and fast. And I thought I'd make a TBR video and show you the books that I plan to read for July. Some of it is continuation of what I read in June. Some of it is some new books. Just a couple of things to say before I actually show you the books. The first one is I'm trying to read some books and relate them back to BookTube events. But there are two BookTube events that I'm seeing a lot of BookTubers are doing, but I don't think that I will be doing. One of them is the Jane Austen July, I think is the name of the event. I've read Pride and Prejudice. It was I was neutral about it. It wasn't the best book I ever read in my life, but I don't know if I'll be doing it this month. I actually forgot, and then it was only end of June that I saw other booktubers and it becoming a big booktube event. So if I had known earlier, maybe I could have fitted in my reading. But by end of June, I had already known what I want to read in July. So I don't know if I can fit in a Jane Austen book. The other big event I'm seeing a lot on BookTube among booktubers is the Rocket July. I think that's the name of the event. That's when booktubers are reading classic science fiction from the 20s or the 30s, 40s, and 50s, or 30s, 40s, and 50s, and I think 60s. I don't know the parameters. You can check it. A lot of booktubers are doing it. You'll find it if you search on BookTube. I should put links in the description, but you'll find it, and if you're interested, you should. I would do it again. I'm not the biggest science fiction reader. I've been trying. I tried Dune Messiah last month, which I enjoyed just as much as I enjoyed the first Dune, which I read a couple of years ago. So I'm not totally against science fiction. It's just, again, it came late. If I had known a bit earlier, maybe I could have planned it. I don't have that many science fiction books on my shelves, so to find, because there's parameters about the years and the decades, and I don't want to. Anyway, I'll watch the booktubers and their videos about Rocket July, and then maybe that'll help me plan for next year or see what to look for. If anybody recommends anything nice, I'll keep my ears open and my eyes open for that. The events that I will do, and I'll show you some of the books related to them. One of them is, I've been following it all year, is Historathon. Historathon is a booktube event that allows you, that promotes reading history. And Historathon is a year long, as I mentioned, and it's cut up into 4 quarters. The first quarter of the year, from January to March, is reading books about history from prehistory to the year 500 AD or CE. Quarter 2 was 500 to 1500, which just finished. I read mostly Mongol histories. We're just entering quarter 3 now with the coming of July. And quarter 3 is the year 1500 to the year 1820. So any history from that period. So that's what I'll be focusing on. Quarter 4, which starts in October, will be 1820 to the present. But for quarter 3, we're focusing on 1500 to 1800. The subject I'm focusing on is the Age of Discovery. I got a couple of books about explorers, mostly European explorers who discovered the New World, America, North America, South America, but also found new ways to Asia, going around Africa to India and beyond, etc. Yeah, so for the first book I'm reading, and I'm very excited. I've had this on my shelf for a while, so I'm happy to finally get to it. This is Amerigo. The subtitle is The Man Who Gave His Name to America, and the author is Felipe Fernandez Armesto. Excuse me, Felipe Fernandez Armesto. Amerigo was an Italian Florentine. I read the first. How does Felipe Fernandez Armesto, the first line? I think I'll let him introduce Amerigo. Just the first. Amerigo Vespucci, who gave his name to America, was a pimp in his youth and a magus in his maturity. Okay, a pimp in his youth. A magus, I think I checked what magus is. I wasn't sure of the definition. Magus comes from magi, I think. It's a Persian word, basically a sorcerer, like a magician. So a controversial figure, but a figure who gave his name to America. So Amerigo is the masculine, the feminine is America, and he was most famous for realizing that what Columbus had discovered was indeed a new world. It wasn't Asia, it wasn't part of China or Japan, or because Columbus had thought his whole life, he was convinced that he died thinking that he had discovered Asia. He found the westward way. He thought Cuba and all these islands in the Caribbean were islands off the coast of Japan, and China was just a few, not too far away, maybe a night or a day's sailing away. So he was convinced, and nobody could change his mind. But Amerigo was the one who said, no, this is a new land, a new world. And I still haven't read the book. I'll read it, but it seems that cartographers in Europe were impressed by Mr. Amerigo, and so they named it America. And he never went to North America, so it's not United States of America. And if I remember correctly, I think the map, yeah, if you look at the map of his voyages, that's South America. That's where he did most of his work. He was Italian, but he flew for the Spanish flag. So yeah, very interested. Again, not a very big book, but interesting. And this author also has good credit with me. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Again, Columbus. He got to name America North, and so his name. His fame lives on. Columbus, for all what he did, the first person to reach the New World, the first person from Europe. There's just a couple of places. I think it's there's the District of Columbia, which is Washington D.C. There's the nation of Colombia, the great nation in South America. And I think there's British Columbia and Canada. That's about it. But Amerigo, he gets a bigger we can say his bigger naming rights, bragging rights for names. The next book is also related to the Age of Discovery. This is a book. The cover is not very nice, but the inside of the book, and I think this is I'll show you it. It's by David Boyle, and it's Voyages of Discovery. And it's by Thames and Hudson. So I think this is more like a sort of textbooky kind of book. But I was interested. I bought this a long time ago, and it's been on my shelves, and I don't know if I want to keep it. The only thing that's making me keep it is it's the inside, the artwork inside. There's a lot of nice paintings, the New World, and mostly European renditions of the Europeans meeting the natives in the New World for the first time, and it's just a nice artwork, or nice art, and nice illustrations throughout the book. So it's not, you've got, I think this is towards the end. It's an Inuit, tribe walking. I just noticed, I don't know the background, but there's a missing leg. The gentleman has one. So just nice artwork throughout. There's even just small ones, pictures of maps, etc. So I don't know. It also comes in the back. There's like what do they call it? It includes a facsimile of documents. It's in this plastic thing. It's like Columbus's letter to the Queen of Spain and that kind of stuff. So I think it's a textbook. It's again not a big one. I can finish it quickly, but I don't know if I need to keep it around in my library. The third book I'm going to be reading for Historathon. So those two were small. This one is much larger. This one is by Tom Filing, and it's called The Island That Disappeared. The subtitle is Old Providence and the Making of the Western World. That's the island of Providencia, Isla de Providencia in Spanish, I guess. I'll show you where it is on the map. This is an island nobody knows about. I never knew about it till I just started reading this book. That's Colombia, where we're talking about South America. That's Mexico's up there. That's Central America. We've got Nicaragua. Providencia is somewhere here. This is the story of. It happens around the 17th century, the 1600s. It's around the same time that the Pilgrims, the Puritans from Britain and the Netherlands, sailed to America. Basically, this was a sponsored trip by the Massachusetts Bay Company, if I have my naming correct. They set up a settlement in America. Then there were other ambitious men who said, wait a second, they're starting a colony in northern USA, what becomes USA. It's a very cold, very rocky, very dark place. Why there? Why don't we start colonies in the Caribbean, where the sun is shining, the weather is much nicer, potentially the crops are richer. It was also important for the English or the British to set up colonies here so that they could target Spanish shipping. This is the age of pirates and piracy, so privateers. So that's the premise of this book, but it's a very ambitious subtitle. It says, "And the Making of the Western World." So again, I've been reading just the first couple of pages, and it's actually quite good so far. I really like it. I'm looking forward to completing this. It's quite dense. No, not dense. It's advanced history, we can say. I still haven't read it all. I don't know if a beginner would appreciate this. Maybe not the first book you should read on the subject, but it looks and sounds interesting. Actually, I have other books in the same. I'm not going to read these this month. I might read them next month. But regarding the Mayflower, because the ship that the colonists go to Providencia to start their colony is called the Seaflower. So the Mayflower went to America, to the U.S., to where Massachusetts is, and to the Isle of Providence, Old Providence. It was a sister ship called the Seaflower. So there was some links, and it was also Puritans, but I think this one, not to ruin the ending, but it ends, that disappeared. I guess it's there. Ends kind of tragically. There was a couple of books I have about the Mayflower that I might read next month after I finish the Old Providence book. There's this one by Nathaniel Philbrick, famous for the famous author of The Heart of the Sea and other books. This is called Mayflower. And then there's this one called The Journey to the Mayflower by Stephen Tompkins. The subtitle is God's Outlaws and the Invention of Freedom. These I'll read next week after I read them, but they're sort of related, and they all fit in. All these books fit into the quarter three prompts, we can say, for Historathon. The next two books I want to read are for the event called, I think it's called Big Book Summer. I think that's the name. Again, I should be tagging and knowing who started the event, and I should be tagging and putting details on the description, but I'm a very lazy booktuber. But you can find out about it. It's basically you need to read a big book in summer. It could be fiction, could be nonfiction, and excuse me, a big book is defined as a book that's over 400 pages. So any book that's over 400 pages, that's included in Big Book Summer. And if you can read one in July, it doesn't have, you don't have to finish it in July, but if you can read one, start one in July, um, uh, good for you. What I'm reading, one of them, I have two big books. One of them is, if you've seen my previous videos or have been following my channel for any amount of time, I've got a library of Windsor books about the royal family of Britain, of the UK, and I don't need them. I want to read them and probably get rid of them. This is next in my line. This is Elizabeth the Queen Mother, and it's by Hugo Vickers. Again, I dipped into the intro and just the first couple of pages. I don't know. The Queen Mother, she was an aristocrat. She comes from an aristocratic family. Hugo Vickers, just what he, from his introduction, seems like he is quite, I don't know what the word is. He also grew up in that sort of world, so this book might be more hagiography, like like she didn't do anything wrong, like everything she's like just positive, none of the negatives. I don't know. He seems like he was a a personal friend of the Queen Mother, so, or he knew her personally, so he's gonna be a bit easy on her. I don't know. I still haven't started it, but I'll be reading it in July and I'll let you know. Just again reading from the beginning, rich life, because I think she was born in the year 1900 and then she died in 2001, early 2001. So she's a perfect 20th century figure. She started when I think Queen Victoria was still on the. She was born. Queen Victoria was still on the throne, and when she died, it was the new millennium. It was just a long life, a 20th century life. So I'll be interested to read that. The other big book I'm reading for Big Book Summer, which I think is the correct name of the event, is again, you're going to see a lot of randomness in my books because these are random books that are on my shelves that I want to get rid of, to pare down my library, to lessen the amount of books in my library. This one is very random. This is by Philip Norman, and it's Paul McCartney, The Life. Paul McCartney of the Beatles fame. I think most people know who the Beatles are. Yeah, this is an 800 page book about Paul McCartney, and I think I bought it for really cheap, so I just put it in my shopping cart when I was shopping for books without thinking. And now I have to read it before I get rid of it. It's all 800 pages of it, and I'm thinking for Big Book Summer that may be a good idea. As I mentioned, I'm reading only nonfiction in July. I'm not going to do the Rocket Summer. I'm not going to do Jane Austen July. I'm not reading any fiction. It's going to be only nonfiction. So this is my this is my beach read. It was either this or this was my beach read, Bismarck Alive. But no, this I won't read on the beach. Neither will this. I'll just read this throughout July and try to finish it. 800 pages. The other books I have are small, so I'm thinking if I can finish those quickly and then focus on this for the rest of the month, this and the Elizabeth book, I'll be happy. Again, she was born in 1900, so by the time this guy, they both British characters, subject matter. By the time this guy was born, she must have been in her 40s, and when he became famous with his songs about his Beatles songs, their first hits, she must have been in her 60s. Just to let you know how long her life was. But yeah, I'll be interested to read this. I've heard that there's a very good Beatles biography, not by Philip Norman, another author. I've heard this on BookTube. I don't know, but this is what I have. But then again, reading the intro, it seems that Philip Norman, he's a music journalist. A lot of them are, who write these big biographies. So they're practiced in this form of writing musical biographies. But Philip Norman wrote a book called Shout, I think it's called, which is a Beatles biography. Then he wrote John Lennon biography, where he sort of he put John Lennon above Paul McCartney, and that created issues. And then, to sort of, I don't know, they tried to bury or try to squash the beef. This author with Paul McCartney, he said, okay, I'll do a biography of you, and I'll try to rewrite I don't know, try to correct any mistakes I made or any controversial statements I made about the Beatles in my John Lennon my John Lennon biography. I think he said that John Lennon was 3/4 of the Beatles, and that made Paul McCartney a little bit angry with this author. But he said that this is part of a series with the John Lennon biography. So I don't know. Maybe it was better if I had the John Lennon biography, read that, then read this, or perhaps read the Beatles biography, and then the John Lennon, then this. But this is the one that I have, and I don't want to keep it. So I'll try to finish it in July, and then get rid of it. And then I just have a couple of other books just lying around, smaller ones that I can again read and probably recycle. Again, followers of my previous videos of my channel will know that I have also, just like I have a Windsor biography that I'm trying to cut down, just like I have a couple of musician biographies. I'm not into music. I never played music. I don't like the Beatles. I appreciate music, but again, I have a couple of books about musicians and musician biography, band biographies, trying to get rid of those. I also have a library about the Caucasus, that region in Central Asia or Eurasia that has the Caucasus Mountains, and it is made up of 3 countries, the Republic of Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Armenia. And those 3 countries are in a very difficult geographical position. They're in a very mountainous region that's very hard to reach, very isolated. To the north of them is Russia, which is a very strong power, and they're very small countries. To their west is Turkey, another middle-sized, large nation, again, that especially the Armenians have some issues with, we can say. And then there's also Iran to the south, and the Islamic world in general to the south. And then they are also squeezed in by the Black Sea to their west and the Caspian Sea to their east. So it's a very, very claustrophobic geopolitical situation they have. And I have a couple of books about them, some fiction as well, but also non-fiction, mostly non-fiction. And I'm trying to read them because I don't need 10 books about the Caucasus. Maybe 1 is enough. So this is the next one I want to read and see if I want to keep. It's by Grigor Avagian, and it's called Armenia and the Armenians in the World. You can see it's in English. It's translated originally from the Armenian. That's Armenian script, in case you were curious. It's a nice cover, but this isn't even a book. It's more like a booklet. It's not that big, and then half of it is in Armenian. If you want to see what Armenian looks like, and then the other half is in English. So the English part is just half of this really small one. So I'll read this really quickly and see what I think. Just to read the first chapter 1, first line, just to give you an idea of how important geography is for this part of the world, Armenia and the Caucasus. It says, the existence and development of domestic and foreign policy of any nation are greatly conditioned by its geography, so to say, by the various factors of its geographical position. That's the first line of this book. Geography, very important, again, because a very isolated country, and a very difficult geopolitical situation. So I have that. The other book I have, which again, it's a smaller book, but also want to get rid of, or I want to read it and see if I do need it. I want to casually dismiss it. Is also falls under my music and let's say popular culture books. This is by Anupama Chopra, and it's King of Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan, and the Seductive World of Indian Cinema. Indian from India. I don't know how much Western people, Europeans, and North Americans know who Shah Rukh Khan is. I don't know how big Bollywood is in Europe and America. I know it's big. I read the first couple of pages of this book. It's actually quite well written. The first chapter one was really good. Again, it's another small one, which I hope to finish quickly so I can focus on the bigger ones for Big Book Summer. But what I read from the first chapter was actually quite well written. It's quite a serious book. It's about India, really, but it takes it helps you understand India through Bollywood and Indian cinema and Shah Rukh Khan and how yeah, it's not just a fan biography. It's actually quite a serious work. So far, it's actually I've been impressed. Um, Again, I don't know Western how big Shah Rukh Khan. I know in the Indian community in the United States and Canada, keeps his name is quite big in those parts. Europe, maybe in the UK, there's a big Indian community in the UK for a long time due to historical factors. But he's even big in Africa, South America. He's a third world megastar. This guy, Shah Rukh Khan. Maybe if you live in a first world country, you've never heard of him, but the third world, they worship this guy. He's a hero, a real working class hero. So again, small book. Interested to read it, and I'll let you know what I think. And then there's one final book I have. Again, my videos always go too long. I always say, look, let me finish this in 10 minutes, and then it becomes triple that. But there's one more event, which is Summer of Sport. I read a sporty book, sports related book in June, which was the biography of Muhammad Ali by Jonathan Eig. I have it right here, actually. Yeah, Jonathan Eig, Ali. Which was a very nice read. For July, my plan, again, I hope I can finish all of these. Again, this is a smaller book, so I'm hoping I can finish this and then I can focus on the larger ones. He's a let's just say he's a eccentric figure. This is Dennis Rodman, Bad as I Wanna Be, and it's co-written with Tim Keown. Then it's him there, famous basketball player. Okay, I'll show you the back cover. He's eccentric. I don't know. This is a family show, but if I don't show you, I'm gonna have to look at it while I'm showing you this. But it's basically that's his. Yeah, there you go. So he's pretty much butt naked. If you don't know who Dennis Rodman is, again, I'm a '90s kid, so I know who he is. We'll see. He's I can't pick up this book without laughing because he kind of, I don't know, he's very eccentric, the clown sort of appearance, but interesting. I read the first couple of pages. Not an easy upbringing, and somebody who really pulled himself up from nothing. Really, we shouldn't just laugh at him because he's very eccentric. Again, I'm worried about the amount of books and if I can finish all of this in July. But again, this book is it's a biography or a memoir, but if you can see, there's a lot of big fonts, and then there's a lot of photos interspersed within the just within the text. So you see, there's just more photos and big fonts sometimes when he wants to highlight a point. So I'm hoping that I can finish this quickly, and yeah, hopefully I can complete all the books I set out to read for July, and then hopefully at the end of July I'll do a wrap up, and I'll tell you how good these books were. But until then, I'll wrap this up, and I'll say salute, Baktu.